Hey guys, what's up? Alex here. What we're going to do in this video is we are going to hunt for line discrepancies as we've done in other sports betting videos. So one thing that jumps off right off the bat is we see Broncos versus Jets. You can get over 20.5 first half points, minus 105 odds on DraftKings. Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world, has been moving the first half total points market higher. So the total has been moving higher on Pinnacle in this specific game. As we've said in previous videos, Pinnacle is kind of the source of truth in sports betting. They are known to be arbitrage friendly, one of the sharpest bookmakers. So we can see there's a direct line discrepancy, right? If I had a DraftKings account and if I had a Pinnacle account, I could make a risk-free 1.16% return, essentially just betting on both sides. That's what arbitrage betting is, right? You're betting equal and opposite sides on two different sports books in order to lock in a risk-free return. So here we can bet over 20.5 minus 105 odds on DraftKings, under 20.5 plus 110 odds on Pinnacle, and we could lock in a risk-free return. But again, the point here is, even though I don't have access to a Pinnacle account, I'm currently in Virginia in the United States, you can't bet on Pinnacle, is if we click on this game, because Pinnacle is the sharpest bookmaker, you can see that minus 105 or the plus 110, one of these has to be a good betting opportunity. You can't have the ability to make risk-free profit in sports betting without one line being a profitable bet. So we know either this minus 105 on DraftKings is a profitable bet over 20.5, or this plus 110 under 20.5 is a profitable bet. Again, because Pinnacle is the sharpest bookmaker, this over 20.5, that's the bet. That is the play. That is the mathematically profitable bet, this minus 105. So what's interesting is you can see that most sportsbooks have the total set at 21.5 or 21, right? We can get most sportsbooks, you can see like 5 Dimes, Ballybet, Betfred, Caesars, everything kind of has over 21 points minus 110 odds. We can get over 20.5, so we can get half a point better at minus 105 odds on DraftKings. Now, the difference between over 20.5 and over 21 is huge, right? Because if there's 3 touchdowns in the first half, if let's say Denver's leading, 21-0 or 14-7, our over 25 or over 20.5 first half, total points bet would win, whereas the over under 21 bet would be a push and we'd get our money back. So the difference between over under 20.5 and over under 21 is actually pretty big, which is why you can see like over 20.5 is minus 127 on Pinnacle, whereas over 21 is minus 112, because the probability the first half ends with exactly 21 points is not that small. So what we can do is go to DraftKings. This is something we want to bet on. And we've said this before, you want to get to good betting opportunities quickly. They're not going to last forever. So what we're going to do is we're on NFL. We want to go to halves. And then we want to find the Jets game quickly. And you can see over 20.5 first half points is minus 105 odds. So we can try to bet $500 on it. It takes it. So if we go to this page, what we can see is over 20.5 points in the Jets-Broncos game. We have it bet at minus 105 odds. Again, you can we can track our bet. If you just click on an odd on DraftKings, you can track your bet. So over 20.5 minus 105. Okay, we're betting $500 on it. Then hit save. It'll be added to your OddsJam bet tracker, which tracks your profit and loss, your closing line value or your CLV, and shows you how you perform versus the closing line. So again, why do we like this? Is you can think about it 3 different ways. One way you can think about it is most books have the total set at 21, over under 21. We can get an additional half point over 20.5. Instead of at minus 110 odds, we can also get better odds on the over 20.5 at minus 105 odds on DraftKings, which you can see is what we just bet. So that feels, pretty good. We're getting an additional half point in 21 points is a very common outcome for first half total points, right? So this is a great bet, just kind of looking at the board and where most sports books have it lined up. So it looks like DraftKings is being a bit too generous in terms of what they're giving you on the over 20.5 first half total points, right? So that's one way to think about it. The second way to think about it is this is an arbitrage bet to Pinnacle, right? It's an arbitrage bet to Pinnacle. Pinnacle is the sharpest bookmaker in the world. So we're placing an arbitrage bet between DraftKings and Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook. So you know that one sportsbook has to be a profitable bet. Again, because Pinnacle is the sharpest bookmaker, that's an indication that this minus 105 is a profitable betting opportunity, right? So what we can actually do is we can go to a no vig fair odds calculator and we can see Pinnacle's market was minus 127 plus 110. So if we remove the juice from Pinnacle's market, if we remove the vig, if you remove the juice from a market, you can get the estimated fair odds from Pinnacle, their point of indifference that is given to you from their market. So what you can see is, according to Pinnacle, the fair odds on over 20.5 first half total points is minus 117.49. So if you remove the juice, minus 117.49 is the fair zero vig, zero juice line. That's what's fair. And we're getting minus 105. So the fair odds are minus 117.5. We're getting minus 105. So we're getting much better than the fair line. So we're pretty happy getting minus 105 odds, given that fair is minus 117.5. So the point of indifference is under 20.5, according to Pinnacle, under 20.5 plus 117.5. That would be the fair odds, and over 20.5 first half total points, minus 117.5. So that is the point of indifference for Pinnacle. So we can see every odd, right? This is the fair odds, has a win percentage associated. So you can also see that on the odds converter calculator. So if we put in, American odds minus 117.5, the associated implied win probability for this bet, the win probability of this bet is 54.02% according to Pinnacle, right? We're getting minus 105 odds. We staked $500. So we can add our inputs, and this is Jets over 20.5 first half points minus 105. So this is what we're betting. So we're betting $500 at minus 105 odds. So our profit, if we win, is simply 500 times 100 over 105, right? And that's what you can see on DraftKings, right? Our potential payout is $976.19. That includes our stake. That includes the $500 we're betting. So our profit, if we win, would be $476.19, which is simply, $500 times 100 over 105. So then we can back out the expected value of our bet, the expected profit from placing this bet. And what we can see, our profit is 476.19 times our win probability. So according to Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, 54.02% of the time, we're winning $476.19 in profit. The other time, the rest of the time, we're losing our stake, which is $500, and we're losing 1 minus our win percentage, right? So this would be our loss percentage. So if we add a column, we can do the Pinnacle no vig loss percentage, and that's just going to be 1 minus this, right? So if we go back to the zero vig line, if we go here and we go to no vig for odds calculator and we go to minus 127 plus 110, according to Pinnacle's market, what Pinnacle's market is implying is fair, the fair win probability, the fair loss probability. Sports has variance. You never know what's going to happen. So according to Pinnacle, there's a 54.02% chance this game goes over 20.5 first half total points, and the probability the game goes under 20.5 first half total points is 45.98%, right? So these are the fair win probabilities according to Pinnacle Sportsbook. So what we can do is we can, kind of see if there's any other interesting betting opportunities. And you can see there's a lot, right? There's a lot of line discrepancies. As a sports bettor, these things are always popping up. They're always going away. odds are not static, right? Odds are not static. Good lines are constantly popping up. They're constantly going away. So you want to move quickly, know how to navigate the books quickly so you can get in on good betting opportunities when they pop up. So we can kind of look through and we can see maybe nothing else that's particularly interesting, at least at the current time. Like here's another one, Broncos minus 6.5 on Fanduel first half point spread. You can get plus 100. Pinnacle has this minus 119. So this is an ARB to Pinnacle. Like this plus 100 is a profitable bet. And what you can see is I actually placed that bet, a bit earlier, but Fanduel already logged me out, so I'm not going to log back in. But yeah, so that's essentially, kind of, we can look and see if there's anything else that's particularly interesting, but it seems like it's a pretty slow day. Lines, this is kind of the best bet out there. It has an expected profit of 5.47%. This minus 105 over 20.5 first half total points has an expected profit of 5.47% to Pinnacle's market, which is pretty great. So we can see our EV percentage is just the expected profit of our bet divided by our stake, and we can see 5.46%, which is pretty great. So again, this is kind of the math and the formula you need to know, is you need to know your zero vig win percentage, your zero vig loss percentage, and then you want to take your win percentage, your loss percentage from Pinnacle and back out your expected profit. If this number is positive, this is known as a profitable bet, right? A positive expected value bet. If that number is negative, it's a negative expected value bet, and you don't want to place that bet. This is ultimately the formula you need to know. You need to have a fair win percentage, a fair loss percentage for every bet that you're going to place, and then you can use that with the odds you're getting to back out your expected profit. So what we can also see is if I, let's go back to the plus EV page, is what you can see is if I go to this game, this bet has an expected profit of 5.47%. Is what we can do is we can look at the Kelly calculator. So according to the Kelly calculator, with a Kelly multiplier of 1, again, the Kelly criterion is a way that sports bettors use to manage their bankroll, right? It essentially takes into account how profitable a bet is and how big your bankroll is and tells you how much to bet. So here we see, because our win percentage is roughly 0.95%, this is a positive expected value bet. We would want to wager 9.7% of our bankroll on this specific bet. So if our bankroll was, $5,000, we'd want to risk roughly $500 on this specific wager. That is the Kelly criterion in sports betting. So another thing we can do is we can turn on player props. So we've said this before, OddsJam, it's fully customizable. You can add email alerts. You can set up email alerts at different notification thresholds. You can also turn on player props. You can turn off player props if you want to see them or not. Some people do, some people don't. So we can see turning on player props, it puts in a few more markets like player total receptions, Falcons or the Giants versus Falcons game, Sterling Shepard over 5.5 plus 105 odds on BetMGM, the unders minus 102 on Fanduel. So you can kind of scroll through, you can turn on that specific setting, and then you'll see player props. So again, everything on OddsJam is very customizable in terms of the alerts you're getting, the books you're seeing. You can filter out books, you can turn books on, you can set up all sorts of notifications. So I hope you found this video helpful. Again, the bet that we're going with, the call is over 20.5 first half total points in the Jets-Broncos game. Pinnacle, the sharp offshore sportsbooks are ripping higher in that specific game. And hey, we were able to capitalize and get over 20.5 minus 105 odds on DraftKings. Thanks so much for your time.